Hello everyone, welcome back. We are once again, episode 3 of our No Man's Sky Permadeath Survival Challenge. When last we met up, we found a new world, a lot less hostile than the first, and we found some cool things. We started exploring. We started cataloging the local animals and minerals and vegetables. And now we are going to... Well, first we're going to look at that. Okay. Now we are going to, I think, get back on with the tutorial a little bit, because that's going to help us unlock some technology that we need to salvage this wreck of a giant ship. That'll be cool to do. And there's also that interesting monument looking thing that we had over here. See the navigation marker we left. Looks pretty cool. Glowing blue. There's a ship way over there. Anyway, so we're gonna get back on track with the tutorial for the moment. As I mentioned before, we're not going to be following the tutorial very closely, because it tends to push us along a little faster or a little too slowly for the first 30 minutes or so. But it tends to push us along a little faster than we want to go if we want to survive. The difficulty is higher in the permadeath setting, so we need to make sure that we don't run faster than we're ready to, get ourselves hurt or killed. Hurt and killed is probably a better way of putting it. It's beginning to look like we've scanned most everything. And every time I mouse over something, I see the resources that it's going to give us. At least if we're close enough. That looks like wheat. It is wheat. I mean, it's crazy wheat. Look at it. It's humongous wheat. You know, these wheat kernels are huge, bigger than my fist. Heptaloid wheat. You know, there's a thing in real life called diploidy, or diploid. When they hybridize plants together, they'll often get bigger. So heptaloid is even more loided, shall we say, than a diploid plant. And that's probably why it's humongous. Grains of wheat that you couldn't even fit in your mouth. Crazy stuff. Little interesting things. A little science makes life more interesting, I think. This game is definitely science fantasy, not science fiction. But it's cool when they invite science in. So I'm kind of walking along, smelling the roses here. Hey, this one looks just like... Why were we getting a question mark? We were getting a question mark there just a second ago. I was like, that looks just like the other bush, but it says we don't know what it is. I don't know if you saw that, but for a second, my scanner told me I didn't know what plant I was looking at. I was like, I know I scanned that plant. Anyway. Oh, we just saw it again. Where is it? Where is it? There it is. It is some kind of low-growing, large-leaf plant that is obscured by all of these giant plants everywhere. Oh, our life support just ran out. Let's fix that. We got a bush here that's purple. Looks just like the pink ones, but it's purple. Some birds. They just keep throwing new stuff at us. Pretty soon we're going to know everything there is to know about this planet. Alright, it tells us we found 5 of 14 species. Maybe it's going to be a while longer than I thought. There's another thing we haven't seen. It's just everywhere. All these leafy plants. Big sawleaf plants. Has carbon and sulfurine in it. We're still going the right way, but we're almost there. 83 units away. I think a unit is probably intended to be a meter or so. What do we have here? We've got another ruined machine. Got some boxes. Maybe there'll be something interesting in them. Sodium nitrate, that's good. That is compressed sodium, basically. This is a first aid kit. It restored that one piece of health that we had missing. Wonderful. I was just beginning to think that we needed to do something about the core health that we had that was damaged. I'm going to do something silly to show you the bar. Ooh. So you can see in the upper left that white bar that emptied very quickly. That's our shield bar. And underneath we have these crosses and circles. That's our core health indicator. When that core health indicator is completely darkened, or 3 hits, we will die and it'll all be over. That shield, once we haven't taken damage for, I think it's about 9 seconds or so, it'll start charging. You see we get that blue line come up the screen and then the white line starts filling up. That's something we need to keep our eyes on. Generally, when it's not full, it'll be up there where we can see. But as long as the shield bar is full, it doesn't keep it up there. So we can lose track of our health if we're not careful. Alright, let's see what's in this technology. The sparking wires of the machine generate a signal tapping out its broadcast into the void. Whoever left the message is long gone. Decoding 16, 16, 16. Entry 4925C. That's the third in the alphabetic sequence of 4925s we've seen. No fuel in, failed to reach station, hazard protection low, no choice but to underground, deploy base computer. As well as the log entry, the signal contains plans for a base computer and a terrain manipulator. With any luck, the base computer will hold more information about whoever is leaving these messages. With any luck, that terrain manipulator is going to let us dig through the dirt and get silicate powder so we can go excavate that cool ship ruin. Crash. Whatever. Alright, we need 30 chromatic metal to make a base computer. 2 nanotubes and a dihydrogen jelly to make a terrain manipulator. Well, let's get those started. Put the terrain manipulator in. 2 carbon nanotubes. Let's go ahead and make those. We need carbon, 50 of them. We have condensed carbon, we're just going to have to uncondense that. This crystal fragment that we found when we were mining dihydrogen gives us lots of dihydrogen. That's useful. Alright, well, let's put our refiner out. And the refiner runs on carbon, but if we stick condensed carbon in it, it can break that down into carbon. Since it's broken the carbon down for us, let's just pick it back up again. And now we've got 100 carbon. That's enough to make 2 carbon nanotubes. Now we can install our terrain manipulator. And we can gather some copper, which we will use to make chromatic metal. And that we can use to make a base computer. And that will allow us to build a base, which is cool, because don't you want to build a summer home on a crazy exotic alien world that doesn't have radiation storms and all kinds of other scary things? There's still some scary stuff here, let's be honest, but it looks downright pleasant compared to the first world that we were on. Scan these underground minerals. What did we just get hit by? What did we just get hit by? I don't even know. That's kind of not okay. Oh well. These humming sacks have albumin pearls in them. Albumin pearls are fairly valuable. They're rather valuable for the point of the game that we're at. So we're going to grab them. That will help us get started with trading. That's what I would like to do. That's how I would like to make our money to explore the galaxy. At least in this series. So that hazardous plant gave us sodium. That's nice. We got some cave marrow here. It doesn't tell us that, but this is a plant we can scan. I'm just going to do that. Doesn't really make it any better, but It lets my completion, my sense of completion, get a little more complete. That is a silly sentence, wasn't it? There's another cave marrow bulb plant. So we can view our discoveries here in the discovery panel, and we can look at these things we just picked up, and it'll tell us a little bit about it. Now, this is kind of, I don't know if you've ever done a Mad Lib before, but it's kind of like that. You know, the age, the root structure, the nutrient source, the notes, they're all kind of random. And sometimes it can be a little fun to click through them and see what it says. Ticklish stamen, that's hilarious. This plant is fourth dimensional. Wow, interesting. Age is old, huh? Well, I guess if it's fourth dimensional, it sure would seem old, wouldn't it? The nutrient source for this plant is radio waves, and it has pheromone sacs. Yeah, it's just crazy stuff. Anyway, we're not going to spend very much time at all doing that, but it's a cool thing to be aware of the game doing. Why can we not gather that? Oh, we are. I was like, it's not showing me the indicator that we are gathering this plant. And since it's here and trying to kill us, why don't we just disassemble it for parts? I'm getting sodium and oxygen out of that. You can see, as my laser gets hot, it starts to turn red. We're gathering even faster. So we're going to take advantage of that knowledge later. In fact, we're going to take advantage of it right now. While our laser is hot, we're going to use it to gather some of this cobalt. Normally this stuff is a little time consuming to gather, but our laser's red hot right now. So we can gather it pretty quick. I'm just going to get a few pieces before we move on. Cobalt is very valuable. And it will help us get our trading started once we get off of this planet. So we're going to take a little time, gather a little bit. It can also be used to craft some useful things like batteries that can fuel our hazard protection systems. Super useful stuff for later. Luckily we are on a planet that is very hospitable. We won't be needing that hazard protection real soon, but this cobalt is very valuable. So we're going to grab some. I'm going to grab some of that just because it's there. And it's a different shape than the one we already gathered. Alright, enough of that. Let's get out of here. That is not a rock that can be gathered. We need to find copper. So we're going to scan the horizon. These are the icons used to indicate large mineral deposits. What we've been mining so far are just little rocks on the surface. Hello, bird? Or are you a bat? You look kind of more like a bat than a bird. Anyway, so we're going to scan around and look for a copper deposit. Copper deposit copper, I should say, can be refined into chromatic ore, or chromatic metal rather. There's another animal. Scan that. So far we've been seeing lots of salt and paraffinium. There finally is some copper. Let's keep scanning the horizon and see if any are closer. It is beginning to look like excuse me. It's beginning to look like there are not any that are closer. Hopefully my voice will start cooperating with me more. Alright, that's a full circuit. Let's head toward the copper. And one of the things we need to start thinking about is fueling our ship. Our ship is so far away right now. Okay, it's not that far away. I thought it was going to be farther. One of the things we can do, we can call our ship to us with a remote, but it needs fuel to make liftoff. And as you may recall, we used all of our launch fuel getting off of the last planet. So, we're going to need to make more. Cool cave. Ooh. Cool glowing animal. Ah! I didn't mean to fall into the cave. Hey, we can scan that aggressive plant. Let's grab that. I was checking out the glowing animal and fell in. We've already scanned it. What we were hearing right now is the importance of hydration, boys and girls. You don't drink enough water, your voice will complain about it. Let's see here. This is quite a cave. Multi-leveled. There's a floor up there, it looks like. See that up there? But that looks like it's going to be hard to get up to. We have tiny little fuel tanks for our jetpack. In fact, I think we might have to dig our way up to that copper deposit. Did we finish our terrain manipulator? We did, didn't we? Yes, okay. Time to show how that works. We might be able to climb up this, but it looks like we can't. So we're going to dig our way up. Make a slope that's a little less steep so we can climb up. Well, that's interesting. New plant we haven't seen. Anything else in here we haven't seen? We've seen that. We've seen that. No, that looks like it's it. Okay. Where's that deposit? We're getting turned all around. 300 units that way. That's going down, not up. Yeah, let's dig our way out of this cave. Hopefully we don't have to make too long of a tunnel, but we need the silicate powder anyway, right? We've got that wrecked ship to go salvage. How are we doing? We've got plenty of room for dihydrogen. Let's grab some of that. We're just talking about fueling our ship. Takes about 40 dihydrogen to fuel the ship. So we don't even quite have 2 tanks worth of fuel. And 1 tank only gets us 2 liftoffs. You probably don't remember, but when we repaired our launch thruster, it only had half a tank, and it took the whole half a tank to get off the ground. Got another one of these knowledge stones. This time we learned the Viking word for interloper. That's an interesting word. Somebody who is going somewhere they shouldn't be. It's kind of the connotation it has in English. If you break it down into literal Latin, I think lope has to do with walking or striding or something like that. So interloper might be somebody who's traveling somewhere by foot, if you use a more literal translation. The English in this game is pretty good, but after you've been looking at it for a while, it's pretty obvious that it is not the developer's native language. So sometimes we have to be a little creative in how we interpret some of the words. Alright, so what we have here is a copper deposit. Our terrain manipulator has 3 settings: big, medium, little. And that gives you an idea of how much terrain you're going to carve out every time that the game processes a tick from the tool. We're going to select that medium-sized beam because that balances speed with efficiency. If we use the smaller one, we'll get a little bit more resources per chunk of terrain that we dig up, but it takes significantly longer to gather it. And I don't know about you, but I think it's kind of boring just digging like this. So we will use a compromise between speed and the amount of resources we recover. How much did we get? 93. That's enough. We only need 50, right? I think that's what it told us. Or was it 30? I think it's 30. So we're going to put in our Yeah, let's just refine the whole thing. Fuel that. Turn that into chromatic metal. And while we're waiting for that, we'll take a look around. Hey, there's that planet that we came from. It looks pretty radical in silhouette, seeing the whole set of rings all at once. And we get to see the nebula in the sky. It's just a cool looking place, I think. It's half the fun of this game is all the really exotic looking things you get to go see. Well, we're almost done here. Don't think there's anything we can scan. I think we grab those animals. Yeah. Get to the point where we've seen just about everything. The light turned green, that means the job is done. We have 46 chromatic metal now. We can build a base computer. We're going to have to go back to our ship, probably. We need to fuel it. But we should keep our eyes open for a good location for a base. Now, there are a lot of things that one might consider when trying to find a good location for a base. Apparently we have walked 8,000 units now, 8 kilometers basically. One of them being an area that's nice and flat. This terrain manipulator has a tool, flatten tool, lets us flatten the terrain, but the less we have to use it, the better. I can get into why later, I guess. I mean, one of the things we're going to find once we actually start making terrain alterations to build a base is you can spend a lot of time messing with the terrain. It can be a kind of a big waste of time, honestly, trying to get the terrain to be just right, you know, to not look like a toddler grabbed a chunk of Play-Doh and just went crazy with it. It can get to looking like that. And I don't know about you, but that kind of offends my sense of order. So a place that's relatively flat would be good. There's some more of those pearl sacks. And it's even the direction we need to go. Let's grab them. Open it up, then grab the pearl. Open it up, then grab the pearl. As opposed to moving on to the next sack without grabbing the pearl. Okay. More holes that we need to avoid falling in. That cave is huge. And that's a pretty nice sunset, don't you think? Nicely complemented by the vaguely sunset-colored foliage. I like this planet. Purple and pink and kind of a yellow. Aggressive plant. Needs to give us oxygen and not bite us. Okay, moving on. So we're looking for a relatively flat place, one that isn't going to be super difficult to build on. Oh, look at that crazy zebra tree. We have not scanned the crazy zebra tree. Solve that problem. That looks like a rock that we have scanned. Okay. That rock looked to me like one we hadn't scanned. And we got the one with the purple crystals growing out of it. Almost back to where our ship is. We're also almost back to that monument. That's where we dropped that marker. How are we doing for time? Our time's basically up. Whoa, we found a hole again. Oh, I gotta stop doing that. Alright. Well, thank you all for coming. Next time, we will start building a base. The only reason you need a base computer is to build a base. I mean, yes, we want to access some logs, but as long as we're building a base computer, we might as well build a base. So, next time, a base. Maybe we'll finally get to salvaging that big ship. Finally get back to our own little ship. Thank you for coming. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you again real soon. Have a good one. Bye now.